So one of the problems people have when they go into the free weight section of the gym, they see the bench flat, they might want to try a different type of exercise, and they just don't know how to adjust the bench to tilt the seat upright or flatten it out and move it into position. So for example, right now, I might want to bring the bench over to do a bench press, but it's far away from the squat rack. So in a gym, a lot of the benches have this little handle down on the bottom, and you can pick up the bench by the handle. If you tilt it into position and get it elevated, there's wheels up front and it'll roll easily. So instead of trying to just, drag the thing across the gym floor, it'll scrape up the mats and that'll be pretty embarrassing. So that's thing number one, get your bench into the right position. Then there are different mechanisms that you can see under here that help adjust and tilt the bench into different angles. So some just tilt on the upper half, some tilt upper and lower half. This one does both. So you'll know if the seat tilts or adjusts, it'll have its own little mechanism on there. I mean, there's other versions of benches that both people move simultaneously, and you'll usually see some little slot things down here for a bar to wedge into, but very basically you just pull the lever and it'll allow this section right here to either slide up or back down. All right, and this is a two-handed job, so I'm not going to release the lever. It might drop on a finger or something. Same with the back section right here. There's another little lever. You can pull the pin out, and while you're pulling out with one hand, you're going to be securing the bench and sliding up with the other. So weight selection is another area where people often get tripped up. Weights can be different sizes, but the same weight. You could get mixed up with different brands of weight, but the best place to find weight of the different dumbbells is checking on the little end cap. So you see the 5s, the 15s, the 10s. You want to make sure your weights are the same, they're equal. I don't know too many exercises where you want to have a 10-pound weight in one hand and a 5-pound weight in the other. I mean, there could be a few reasons or specific events to train for that would do that, but for the typical athlete, you're going to have equal weight in each hand. These fancier Bowflex weights here have a dial-in system, so you can just kind of turn and adjust the dial to whatever weight you want to lift. And you just need to make sure that both sides are set to the same weight. Otherwise, you're going to have an unbalanced weight piece. So once you are ready to lift some more serious weight, and now this should be with the supervision of someone who's experienced and knowledgeable in weightlifting. And you should usually be around 17 years of age is the recommended age to start lifting heavier weights. So you're going to need to know some things. You'll probably encounter some type of squat rack, bench press setup where you might need to adjust the height of the weights. So I'll just show you at the gym the basic functioning of these racks. So you've got these two lower blue bars down here about level with the bench press. Those are kind of your crash bars. So if for some reason you're doing a bench press and you should have a spotter, but the weight gets away from you, gets too heavy, something happens, you get a twinge in your arm, you can set these just above the height of the highest point of your body that would be in contact with the bar, and that'll prevent it from kind of crushing you if the weight drops. They're also, you can use them as kind of like a starting point to hold the weight. Like on the deadlifts, I like to rest my bar on that so it's up off the ground and I can easily slide the weights onto the bars. Up top, it's the same thing. You know, when you're doing your squats, you'll set it to the right height so that it's just slightly lower than the back of your neck. And you can see the holes are numbered. So I'll show you the little mechanism that slides into there that you'll line up with the right number, but you're going to want to keep track of what height the bar set at for your different exercises so you don't have to put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off. These slide in fairly easily once you know what you're doing, but the first time you try it might be a little awkward, so I'll take a minute to show you how these little pegs swivel and slide in and out. So there's two things going on here. You're going to need to do a swivel motion and a pull motion to get these out. Now the swivel motion is going to allow this to hook around the back and stop the pull from bending and twisting, wiggling and jiggling. The pulling motion is going to allow this rod to slip through the hole to gain strength and stability in the bar. Otherwise, it would never be able to support a heavy loaded barbell. So we're going to slide that back in there. It was that in hole 4 before, and now it's good and steady and good to go. So again, you're gonna twist, pull it out. If you're getting kind of like tilty with the bar when you're putting it, it's not gonna go back in because the holes are drilled straight through level. So if you're having trouble finagling, just level it off straight and then rotate. And that's typically how most of the bars work, even the ones up top holding the barbell. They're smaller, they're a different shape, but they still work on the same mechanism. Pivot, slide, move into place, into the proper peg for your height. So the next feature I'm going to show you here pertains to safety. So you've got your bar loaded up. Right now I just have a tiny little weight plate on there, but as you can see in the background, there's some pretty big 45 weight plates that I might try to squat or bench press at a certain point. Now, when you're lifting, a couple of things. One, if someone is over in this area using the dumbbells, you don't want your plates to slide off and land on them. Break a foot, if heaven forbid they're laying down on the ground, crush their skull. I mean, there's been some serious gym accidents where people didn't take 5 seconds to secure their weight and people have been very badly hurt. So I'm going to show you how to use a collar that stops the weights from sliding off the bar, especially like if you tilt a little as you get fatigued during an exercise. So this item right here is a collar. You can kind of see it's the shape of a bar, and it's got a little locking mechanism here. As you pull it down, it gets tighter. As you open it up, it gets looser to fit around. So I'm going to show you how to secure that on the end of the bar here. You want to make sure it is opened up all the way. You're going to slide it down the end cap, and then you're going to push it firmly up against the weight plate that you're loading on. And then you just kind of flip and pull from here, and it takes quite a bit of force to get it on, and that's because your weight plates are gonna probably be heavy at a certain point, and if it wasn't tight and firm with a lot of force, the weight would just slide right off on you. So I'll show you here. I can push and pull on that weight, whack it, bang it, and it's not gonna slide anywhere. So as for releasing these collars, once they're on here, you're going to see a little nub, and you can you're going to take your thumb and you're going to push that way on the nub as you lift the lever. And again, it's not super easy to do this because you don't want it popping off accidentally and having the weight slide off. So you're going to steady the bar, use your thumb, push, and now it's loose and it slides right back off again. Another version of the collar are these little wiry things. You squeeze them so the circle in the middle gets bigger to fit around the bar, and you've got to squeeze the whole time you slide it down here. I hate these things when they're brand new. It's quite a bit of a struggle to finagle them and get them down the bar. Like, you can do it. It's usually a two-handed job, but they're cheap, they're affordable, and you've really got to make sure you slide it all the way down to secure the weights. I mean, they're sturdy, they're cheap. It's a good way to stay safe without spending a lot of money, but the plastic collars are not that expensive either. I think this one was probably around $8, and they obviously come in pairs because you need one for each side of the bar.